Salam aleikum, aleikum salam. Piano derechito por guardarraya. Like a new initiate. And after 1 year and 21 days, he will get the status of new pine tree, Pino Nuevo. Most of the foundation, if that person get any, his sigils gonna be drawn this way. As you can see, the symbols will be trapped into this square. Once this person will move on into the religion and will get the other ceremonies that he needs, as a Tata en Kisi, Yaya en Kisi, Wawa en Kiso, the butler or mayordomo as they say, o va con fula, they will get the proper foundation, then they can stand by themselves. They will be set free because they will have a foundation that will back them up. But if they don't get those ceremonies and they are just Pino Nuevo, or they get the ceremony of Engello, they're always going to be trapped. Because the circle, what it means, like I discussed before, is the aura, the magnetic field of the spirit of the dead, which is protecting this person in the nganga of this person's godfather. So that's why it's drawn on this way. Last but not least, we are talking about this zigzag symbol, this up and down symbol, this current, which represent the water element. It's very important also to understand when people talk about Afro-Cuban religion or practices. Many people disregard the African religion at all and they just say, oh, just Cuban. And we have to understand that this Afro-Cuban religion, first, when the African came to America as slave, in order for them to preserve their religion, they have to go under the process of syncretization, because many priests, Catholic priests, and these Spanish conquistadors will kill them if they will preserve their religion. They want them to be Christianized, even though they will not have any clue whatsoever what they will be practicing because of the language barrier and culture. And it was a good solution in the old days for African people how to preserve their religion by making them believe that they became members of these Christian or Catholic practices. But we cannot deny that if the African people will not come to the Caribbean island or to the New World, probably nobody of us will be lucky as we were to have this religion. And it was the Creoles, the descendants of these African people, who tried to preserve their religion, and because of their surroundings, many of the food, many of their tradition have to be changed. And these changes was in order to be adapted to this new environment. But the intention was to keep the religion even though it will not be to this original way, but to keep it in a way in this new land, along with the tragedy that they were suffering. And a good example of all this Afro-Cuban religion is the Nganga. The Nganga in Cuba is the magical cauldron which reside the spirit of the dead, the Mfumbi. But in Africa, there is not any magical cauldron Nganga. And there are many Palero practitioners, they say, oh no, in the land of Obo, the Nganga of Siete Rayo and Sasi, Seven Lightning Bolt, that's where it was coming from. That's a pure lie. Because the African traditional way how to practice their ancestor religion, it was quite different as how Afro-Cuban descended back in Cuba practice their ancestor religion. In Africa, the Nganga is a shaman or a witch doctor who will have the Minkisi, not an Nganga, the Minkisi, and they will protect their tribe by different spells. So all these terms of Tatankisi, Yayankisi, Bakonfula, I'm sorry to be the one that have to tell you, but that was a Cuban creation of Palo Mayombe. Because in Africa, Tatankisi does not exist, Bakonfula does not exist, and whoever think or believe that it exists, I would love to go with you to Africa. I will see it with my own eyes, because I know the ancestor religion that is practiced in Africa has nothing to do with the practice, the Afro-Cuban practice of Palo Mayombe in our days. So, unfortunately, in another good example of syncretization is the Virgin of Charity, that in Santeria they know her as Oshun, and in syncretized Palo they know her as Mama Chola. Chola Wenge, Rio Seco, Dry River, or whatever. But this is very important to, and I'm sorry to say, but it was a good Cuban invention or creation. These new ceremonies of Tatankisi, Yayankisi, Wawankiso, Bakonfula, all these were born in Cuba. They were not coming in Africa, because in Zaire, in the Congo land, there was no such thing as a magical cauldron known as the Nganga. Whoever is telling you that has no clue whatsoever of what this religion is all about it. So, and it's very important to understand this. It's very important to understand how these people, they suffer a lot. This is slavery. They got their life, they got their freedom, but thanks to their sacrifice, we have today this beautiful religion. But it's cost the life of many of these people. And the point with these 4 element symbols is to let you know that once you need to do a spell to somebody, you need to insert the proper element according to the person that is directing the spell or the spirit of the dead, And if that person is, like we talked before, from the water element, then this water symbol has to be drawn on the Patipemba, so it will connect, it will drag, it will attract the energy of this person.